Plenty Valley FM presents Sig's Flicks.
Good morning, Sig.
Yes, good morning, Thurston. And yes, indeed, there's quite a lot of interesting things going on now with the big film festival of the whole year is well into just into the second week now, and we're going fine with the Melbourne International Film Festival. That is definitely in the full swing. You guys can still see films right through now in the theaters right around central Melbourne and a few outlying areas like the Astor, but mostly the screenings in the central area like Acme and the Forum Cinema, the traditional, for several years now, home of many films, great old cinema. And I just saw a film last night at the Capitol Cinema on Swanson Street, and that's been redone a few years ago with a fantastic ceiling with the lights there. It's good to see a film in there.
And what did you see there?
Was the film there, I believe, was Animalia.
Right.
Up there. But I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
You can also see films at the Kino and also Melbourne Central, up Swanson Street, Comedy Theatre, over an exhibition. And there's a few at IMAX, just a bit out of town up in Carlton, and at the Astor. So if you guys want to find out a bit more about that, once again, you can see more online at miff.com.au. And as I say, you can see them in those cinemas right through to the 20th. And just before that, they start online, so you can subscribe to seeing some of these films and others right through to the 27th. So plenty happening there. A lot for you to check out. But one of the ones I said before that you might want to check out is Animalia.
Yeah.
And this is from Morocco. And it's an intriguing film. We have this a young woman who's married into a pretty wealthy family in Morocco, and she's constantly being criticized and disapproved of by her mother-in-law, the dreaded mother-in-law again. And things are not going well. She's pregnant and getting through a few things, and her husband and the family is called away, and she stays back in the estate. And when she has to get in a situation where she needs to go across and join them, there's supernatural and mysterious things happening.
Supernatural.
Prevents her from getting there. Yeah. We got a little bit of a mysterious connection with the animals, and a few other weather situations happen. I can't get into too much detail, but basically it's pretty interesting the way she's desperate to get back to her husband and her family, and she has to get through several things to get there. And she teams up with a young guy also who is questionable about her faith and her standing in the wealthy class, and also a mysterious young boy who travels with them, and he's got a bit of a connection with the land and the animals as well. And it's a bit of a situation where she is a bit concerned and a bit worried about how things are going, how she gets back there. So it's an incredible story. We get through in there, and this woman is pretty determined to get back and to be reunited with her family. And then even then, there's situations where she's a bit unhappy with the with what's happening with her. So, Animalia.
And that's subtitle with French, is it? Is it a French movie? Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty incredible the way things go there, though. When there's a good, strong acting role from the young girl, the way she goes. So, Animalia. That's one you want to have a look at and see.
Very good.
Another one which really disturbed me a lot was Last Summer.
Oh, Last Summer, yeah.
Yeah. And this one's from France, in French. And the the situation here, we have a very good role from Leah Drucker, and she plays a woman, a lawyer, in dealing with various people in their relationship problems. And then when her new husband, current husband's previous son, her stepson virtually, comes to stay with them.
Problem child.
Yeah. She enters into a relationship with him, and he is a bit of a problem, correct, yeah. And she, this is not really responsible on her part, he's a 17, 8-year-old young kid, and he's come on strutting around like he owns the place, a typical teenager with rebellion and everything, and they enter into a relationship, and it's not good at all, and it's pretty irresponsible on her part, of course, but then she later on she sort of looks at her situation and says, husband cannot find out, she's got to cut it off, and it's not quite that simple, and not quite that simple at all. And it gets really ugly from there between the to and fro between the other, and she's trying to convince this kid not to let on, and he, of course, is affected by the situation, and they still have a bit of a connection, and the husband doesn't know what to know about these things when he may or may not know what's going on, who to believe, that sort of thing. And it's very well photographed. It looks real good, but it's really fraught situation when things get a bit ugly and things sort of turn and things get a bit crazy. What do people do and how they react? And it's very well photographed. It's just it's really lush areas when they sort of getting around in France. And once again, it's a pretty good role, and it's sort of believable from a young kid, Samuel Kirscher, and he looks real good there. So, last summer, and this is a situation where you don't want to think it's a bad film just because it's an uncomfortable subject.
Yeah.
It is well presented. It makes you uncomfortable because the way they think, this is crazy the way it's going on here, and it's believable to the extent where you are uncomfortable with their situation, and where it gets a bit ugly between them towards the end, and it's well made to make you feel that way. So
the French are very good at doing that, aren't they? They're very good at writing those things to give you a full clarity of both sides of the story.
Exactly, yeah. The characterization there is quite good, and it's a collaborative thing, between the script, which is it's really good getting into it, and the direction of getting these people to go into to realize the script, and also the actors. It's a real collaboration, as I said before, the cinematography as well. So it's interesting, that one. Real good. Okay, moving along, we got another one which you want to check out. This one's called Cobweb, and it's from South Korea. And this is a crazy film, which is pretty well all over the place. It's about a film, and making a film called Cobweb, and from South Korea. And it's all over the place, madcap funny, and anything and everything that can go wrong with making a film pretty well happens in this one, going back and forth between things. And the director is always concerned about getting things right, and when he changes the ending, and the scriptwriter comes in, and the people don't know what to make of it, and it gets a bit crazy. When the end. On the ending, when they're trying to film a scene, they have some set problems, which of course gets a bit chaotic, as you can imagine. And it's a real romp. It's real crazy. You got to follow it very carefully to go through, and it just runs from various things. It's set back in the 70s, and so it's very period piece with the dressing and the sets and everything. And this is it's a lot of fun. So you might want to have a check this one out. It will do you good. Once again, it's called Cobweb, and it's coming in. It's pretty long, over 2 hours, right. And you might want to see that one.
Is that has it got anything to do with spiders or not?
There are a bit of a reference to spiders. I can't really refer to them, but it is a situation where they play a crucial role, which you will see when you see the film. But so check it out, Cobweb. a lot of fun. That one. Okay, several other films
Yep.
you might want to see. Next one we have is Lost. Excuse me, Lost in the Night from Mexico, and this is a bit more of a tense thriller, but with really a dark and claustrophobic photography, which sort of it keeps you in and sort of gives you a bit of sense of forebode. Again, we have when the locals in Mexico are protesting they're setting up a new mine. We have that's going to be problems with the medical issues in the town. We have Monica, who's one of the main people in this one. She disappears, and her son wants to find out what's going on. And it's a very mysterious what happens, and it's pretty close-lipped with other things. And we have not really good things happening. Where did she go? What happened to her? And a few other people as well. And he traces her to some rich people close by, and they are a bit involved in that, but he tries to follow through again. It's really an investigative thing to going through where he tries to follow exactly what happens. And it's an intriguing story, and it's pretty tense the way he goes through, and he wants to get to the bottom of it and find out, how's she going, what's happening. So once again, that's called Lost in the Night from Mexico with connections from Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark. It's a pretty international production there. So, that's one you might want to see. Another long one, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we have another interesting one called Sorcery.
Where's that from?
Okay, excuse me. That one we have from Chile, and back in 19th century Chile. And this is a bit of a mysterious journey from this young woman who is on an island in Chile. It's that period piece back in 19th century Chile, and she's working with her father for German settlers. And there was an initial scene, horrific scene, where he is killed by them by a minor suspected infraction, and she witnesses this, and it's a pretty horrific thing. German settlers treat the locals not very good at all, and so she goes on a quest to find out, to get back and get a sense of revenge. And she renounces her own religion and goes in through the... It's really a wandering discovery thing where she goes through various things where she needs to find out a little bit more about her own position, her own power through this, and she rejects, as I say, her own church, and gets into some of the local teachings and the local mysticism to try and find out what's happened. So it's quite a journey, and she goes through and wanders through various things and gets involved with some people to try and get her own revenge back on what happened to her father, which is very horrific. So that one, again, in Chile. So it's called Sorcery, and you might want to see that one. There's several films for you guys to check out.
I'll tell you what, I've just had a look through that brochure. It's unbelievable. It covers nearly every area of the world, and there's anything from documentaries to animation to short films. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I went through a bit of an overview last week about a lot of those things, and some of the specific films. So there's a lot to be covered and a lot of various things. The music section I covered a bit last year. There's some very good ones. So just a real quick mention. You can see the Ego, the Marco Gudinski story, which looks fantastic, but that will be released later on in the cinema, so you can check that one out if you miss it at MIF, just as one real interesting one. Right on the top of that very good documentary about John Farnham. So there's some good ones screening.
Great.
Good stuff.
Thanks, Sig. Have a good week. See you next time.
No problem.